It's that time of year again when the smiling face of artistic director Jonathan Crow on a multicolored brochure announces the appearance of the Oasis in our traditional warm-weather musical drought. Yes, the Toronto Summer Music Festival opens shop on Thursday, with a Corner Hall concert by the Escher Quartet. There is no way of knowing, from season to season, exactly what to expect from this festival, other than performances at a high level, many of them focusing on vocal and instrumental chamber music. Canadian tenor Ben Heppner has put opera behind him and will sing gospel songs at a Toronto Summer Musical Festival concert. Superstar Canadian tenor Ben Heppner with his pride and joy, his motorcycle, Colin McConnell. This season's instrumental artists include musicians from Perry Sound's Festival of the Sound, the New Orford String Quartet, and Crow himself, applying his violin, his regular job being concertmaster of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, to a tribute to Yehudi Menuhin, one of the greatest violinists of the last century. Vocal artists include German baritone Christophe Pregardian, Montreal's Studio de Musique Ancienne, and one of the greatest tenors Canada has produced, Ben Heppner. And in case you were wondering, the answer is no, Heppner will not be singing Verdi and Wagner. He will appear July 26 at Corner Hall with a Toronto Mass Choir in a program titled, Oh Happy Day. I know. I was puzzled, too. But the gentleman from Dawson Creek, BC, insists that his operatic days lie behind him, and what makes this day happy is that he can return to his Mennonite roots, singing gospel music. Article continued below. I really wanted to retire from opera 5 years earlier. I wasn't happy traveling all the time, he acknowledged over lunch recently. My family was growing, 3 kids and 5 grandchildren, and Karen, otherwise known as Mrs. Heppner, loved her job as an ordained minister. I also had a couple of glitches along the way vocally, glitches. Anyone who remembers that sad night when his voice gave out and he had to cut short a Roy Thompson Hall recital might call his use of the word an understatement. Some singers are luckier than others, but they are all vocally vulnerable, and, in his last operatic years, Heppner was simultaneously at the top of his game and intermittently in vocal trouble. In any case, among Canadian singers only John Vickers enjoyed a comparable career as the leading Wagnerian Helldentenner of his day. Except that Heppner insists, he wasn't really a Helldentenner at all. I was just a big voice lyric, but you do the work you are asked to do and everybody is desperate for a Tristan, in Wagner's Tristan und Isolde. I should have stopped with Lohengrin and Die, Meistersinger. Those of us who heard Heppner's Tristan, I did it both the Salzburg Festival and Metropolitan Opera, might be tempted to disagree with him. I heard Vickers in the role as well, in Dallas, and they both outsing every other Wagnerian tenor I have so far encountered. The world of opera will surely miss that bright, ringing, sweet-toned voice, perhaps even more than its owner, who used to listen to Kitchener-based conductor Howard Dyke introduce opera programs on CBC Radio and covet his job. I was in Paris, heard his last broadcast and wrote him. Heppner laughs. He retired 5 years too early for me, but in 2013 an offer did come from the CBC and one of opera's greatest stars happily changed careers. He can be seen today, minus the trappings of a Wagnerian hero, tooling around the streets of Toronto between broadcasts on a big Honda motorcycle, sometimes with his spouse riding behind him. Article continued below. I always wanted to do radio, he says. I get to tell backstage stories and host Saturday afternoon at the opera. As for singing, I don't want to do the really difficult stuff anymore. The voice is still there, but I don't have the stamina. I do little concerts now, a solo turn, and then get out of Dodge. Another laugh. The event for Toronto Summer Music provides an example of one of these little concerts, taking him back to his small-town roots. As he explained in a press release, my love for gospel songs started at a young age. When I was 3, my family was asked to sing at a little country church. They thought I was too young to sing with them, but that didn't stop me. I just belted out the alto part right from the pew. Gospel music is a thread that weaves through my entire life. Even though I took a detour through the world of opera for a few years, those songs of the church held me together. In fact, I would warm up in my dressing room with Great Is Thy Faithfulness or Amazing Grace, so I'm delighted to come back to sing the songs of my youth and to share the songs of my heart. The circle is unbroken. Correction, July 10, 2018. This article was edited from a previous version that mistakenly said the Bard and Quartet would open the festival. In fact, the festival announced on June 25 that the Bard and Quartet had to cancel due to illness. The Usher String Quartet opened the festival and plays a July 13 concert.